What's up, math scholars? We are here doing a study guide video for you viewers at home who might be out sick today or whatnot. So let's refresh how to graph coordinates. It's pretty easy. The first part of the coordinate, the -1, that's the x value, and then the 3, that's the y value. So you want to go left 1, up 3 to arrive at the coordinate A. Left 1, up 3. Left 1, up 3. And that's A. Can I have a volunteer come up? You can talk in the microphone and everything and tell us how you're going to graph coordinate B. Jose. So you got to explain it to the people watching the video how you're doing this, okay?
Okay.
So, it's 4, 0, no negatives. So on the graph, you go over 4, boom.
And label it B for me. Perfect. Who wants to come do C? You can talk in the microphone.
Bye.
C. 2, -2.
Perfect. Who wants to do D? You can talk in the microphone. Garrett, D.
Alright, so for D, there's 2 negatives. There you go. -1, -1. There you go.
Bunch of graphing scholars, what we got here. Okay, number 5. Let's read the instructions. Too many people try to do math problems without reading the instructions. Tell whether the ordered pair is a solution to the equation. How would we do that? You need a scholar with an idea. Cassian? Perfect. So you're going to put the 3 in for x, the 10 in for y, and you're just going to calculate out if you get a true statement or not. I've already heard some people going, that's not going to work. It's going to be 9 minus 1. 9 minus 1 is not going to be 10. So, if you put it in backwards by accident, it would work? No, because it'd be 10 times 3, which is 30, minus 1, which is 29. So forwards and backwards, this is not going to work. All right, can I have a scholar take my pen and teach the people on the video how to do number 6? Same exact way. Let's go with Kenneth. He hasn't come up yet.
Okay. Cool. So we're gonna do -6 times 2.
You can just write it out so they can see your work.
Okay, so -12x.
Yep.
Plus.
But you put the 2 in for x and you multiply it, so it's just -12 now.
Oh yeah.
Okay, plus.
That's right. And then you're gonna have 11 times 2, 22
Okay.
equals 10.
So.
No.
But wait a minute, I think it does equal 10. So -12 plus
wait,
22
yeah.
is 10. So write a yes.
See,
and then we're
I
good.
did not look at that.
Okay, write a yes. And then we're good.
Yes.
We're good. All right, we're on number 7. Let's read our instructions. Draw the line that has the given properties. Draw the line that has the given properties. We have an x-intercept of 2. An x-intercept is where we touch the x-axis. So I need a dot here at 2. Does that make sense? X-intercept 2. Y-intercept would be where I would touch the y-axis. Y-intercept 1. Now, if you are a type of person that likes really, really straight lines on your test, I did find my box of rulers. It was in my old classroom. I went and found it. So I will have that available on the day of the test.
Where's your old classroom?
A308. I moved this year. And I think what I'm...
Alrighty, so we have a y-intercept of 3 and a slope of -2. What you're going to do is you're going to go up 3, and then you're going to go either up 2, left 1, or down 2, right 1.
That's Garrett, man. Don't make me deaf.
All right, we're on the video. Our instructions are find the slope M of the line that passes through these points. So let's jot down that slope formula right there on the study guide so you can study it. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I did chat with you that that's the same exact thing as y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. As long as you go in the same order, You can go in whatever order you please. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do this first one, number 9. It actually doesn't matter if I start here or here because they're both 2's. That's weird. So 2 minus 2 over 7 minus 1 will give me a 0 on the top and a 6 on bottom. Now, are you allowed to do 0 minus 6? Type it in if you're not sure. Not if you go in the order I went in. I did this 2 first and this 7 first.
Then you could do either way, but you get a negative 6 and 1 minus 7.
Well, but either way, Anthony, the answer is 0, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh.
I see what you're saying, but the slope is 0, so it looks like this if you graph it. All right, I think Ken wanted to come do number 10, so come on up.
Okay.
Talk right here.
You have x and y, so we're gonna do 3, and then we're gonna do minus 3.
3 minus 1.
Oh yeah, 1. Yeah, we're gonna do that.
He's got this.
Yeah, I got this. Minus 1 over negative 5.
Good.
I did it really right.
You gotta push so it'd be flat. There you go.
Okay, yeah. 5, and that, okay. And then minus 3.
Good.
Okay, and then you're gonna do equals 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Negative 5 minus 3. Good, you got it. Negative
8.
8. So he got 2 over negative 8. Let's work on reducing that down, though. Do you know how it would reduce down, Garrett?
1/2.
Negative 1/4.
Yeah.
So
Good
negative
job,
1/4 is your answer for 10. Everybody caught up? Okay. All right, ready? I was looking at the next 3, and they actually don't give you what strategy you need to use to graph. So you could solve for y and use slope-intercept form, or you could solve by doing the x and the y intercepts, which is where, if you remember right, we would cover and cover. Do you remember that? Cover and cover. Which way do you want to do number 11? It's up to you.
Cover y.
I know, I like the cover way. I think it's easier and I think it's less work. So we're going to put a 0 in for x, and we'll put a 0 in for y, and we'll solve both intercepts and do it that way. That's the easiest method when x and y are on the same side together. It's called standard form. So if I put a 0 in for x right here, I would cover up the 3x, leaving me with negative y equals 5. I could solve that for y. What would I do?
Plus y.
Divide both sides by negative 1. And then that's going to be y equals negative 5. So my first intercept is 0, negative 5. Be right here. It's the y-intercept. Then I would put a 0 in for y, so I'd cover up the y part of it, leaving me with 3x equals 5. How would I solve that? What is 5 divided by 3? Can you give me the decimal? I think it's 1.6, but check that for me. Is it 1.67? Okay, so I'm just going to have to, fudge exactly where that is. It's because it's going to be about halfway between 1 and 2. And so it's a positive sloped line. And I could maybe use a ruler if I want that line to be really straight on my test. So that's called the x and y intercept method of graphing. I like it. To me, it's easier than solving for y and getting into slope-intercept form. You guys on board with using that same method on the 12?
Yep.
Me too. So if I stick a 0 in for x right about here, I would cover up that x term, and that would leave me with 3y equals negative 3. How would I solve that?
Divide by 3.
Divide by 3, and that would be? Negative 1. Yeah, that's my first intercept, right about here.
Good job, guys.
Good job, guys. You're really scholarly. And now we'll put a 0 in for y, so we'll cover this term. And that leaves me with, I'll just write it up here, negative 2x equals negative 3. And how would I solve that?
Divided by negative.
Divide both by negative 2. And that's going to be positive 1.5. So it also has a positive slope, huh? They both have positive slopes. Yay! Okay, we're on number 13. Y equals negative 3. Where would we go to plot that? Yeah? Good. We're going to go down to negative 3. We're going to make a dot on that y-axis. And it's going to be headed like this. That's a slope of 0. So catch yourself. Love this next one. You know I love this next one. Question. Why would Mrs. Harper love number 14?
It's amazing.
It's solved for y. So what I would use is I would use slope-intercept form methods. So let me refresh the slope-intercept form methods. Step 1, plot the y-intercept. Step 2, do your slope from there. Okay, so we determined that our y-intercept was -3. You're going to plot that on the y-axis, of course. I think the biggest mistake I see is people plotting their y-intercept on the x-axis, not an x-intercept. And now I had the class show me their slope arms. Positive slope arms head up and to the right. So we're going up 2, right 3. And you can go down 2, left 3 until you run out of space on your graph. You run out of space pretty quickly on this graph. It's very small. I can only plot 1 to the right and 1 to the left. Up and right, down and left, same effect. Okay, hey, who wants to grab the marker and talk through number 15, how to plot that, slope-intercept form methods? Okay, Caspian, come on up.
So you take the 1 and put it right here, and then you go down 1, 2, 3, and over 1, because it's negative.
Perfect. You can do a couple of times. Right, yeah.
1, 2, 3. Counting on.
So yeah, she went up and left, down and right. It looks super awesome. Okay, thank you. All right, 16. X equals 1. That's a little bit different than it was in number 13. X equals 1. It is going to be an undefined slope. Very good. So we're going to go to the x-axis. We're going to go to 1. We're going to have your line cross the axis perpendicularly through the axis. Undefined. The worst curse word in mathematics. Undefined. Okay, so 17, we're going to determine the rate of change. Now that's a phrase you might not be sure of. The rate of change, they do have in parentheses, slope, during the first 2 hours. So we want to get the slope from right here, which is, I'm going to jot the coordinate down, 0, 0, up to 2 hours. And 2 hours is the coordinate 260. So it's just the slope formula here, okay? So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, what's that end up being? Which is 30. 30, it looks like that's miles per hour. They were driving 30 miles per hour. Yes? No, huh? All right, so we had a question about this. We're just doing the slope during the first 2 hours, so the blue line segment I just drew. Now in 18, they said determine the slope during the last 4 hours. The last 4 hours is going to be this green line segment. Does everybody see it? From hour 4 to hour 8 of the trip. So hour 4 looks like we're at 120 miles away. And at hour 8, it looks like we're 0 miles away. I'm grabbing these coordinates from the graph to find the slope of the green line segment. So here we go with our slope formula. Y minus y. I just decided to do y1 minus y2. So then I have to do x1 minus x2. So it's 120 on top and a -4 on bottom, which is what, -30 miles per hour. Now, it doesn't make sense they're going -30 miles per hour, but they're just going 30 miles per hour towards their house. Okay? Miles per hour. Miles per hour. I'm not going too fast. Okay. All right, number 19 is the easiest of the 3 because it's already in slope-intercept form. So can somebody tell me what the slope is?
8.
8, because it's y equals mx plus b. So the 8 is in the position of the m, the slope position. And then b is the y-intercept, which is?
-3.
On video.
-3.
Good. All right. 20 is going to be a bit of a challenge, as is 21, because they are not solved for y. But
Easy.
you guys are getting better at solve for y, so that makes me happy. What would step 1 be on number 20?
Minus 2x.
So at that point, I'll have 9y equals -2x plus 9. Just make sure you don't lose your puppies and lose your negative signs. That happens easily. What do I do as my final step?
Divided by 9.
We're dividing everybody by 9. So my equation is -2/9 x plus 1. So now we're solved for y. But we need to identify the slope and the intercept. What's the slope going to be? Negative, don't lose your puppy. And your intercept? Good job.
Good job, guys.
All right, number 21, we're calling it a day after this one. What is our step 1 for solving for y?
Plus 3x.
I would do the plus 3x. Whoever said that, I agree. Now, there's a lot of puppies you can lose on this one. Don't lose your puppies. You have a negative sign in front of the 4y. That could get lost easily. And then you have a negative sign in front of the 16. That could get lost easily. What has to happen at step 2? Negative 4. Make sure it's a negative you're dividing by. So we're going to have a negative 3 over 4x and a positive 4 because it's a negative 16 divided by a negative 4.
Can you do 3 over negative 4 and 6?
Yeah, so the negative can go with the 3, with the 4, or it can just go out front. Same thing.
Bro, I felt actually so smart. And
Good. What's the slope?
is negative 3.
And what's the intercept? 4. Good.
Yeah.
Hey, that's part 1 of the video. Thanks for tuning in. The only homework is to start the Polaris. If you want me to keep your study guide, lay it up here on this little table and I'll keep it for you.
I think we should. Hey, Miss